Did you see the
Check, 1 2, check 1 2 3. What's up? Check 1 2 3. What's up? What's up? What's going on?
It works. Hear you loud and clear.
Excellent. All right, just checking my stream out real quick. Let's see. Window capture, game capture, window capture, internet. Very good. How you feeling, Tia?
I'm so. Still trying to get over some minor coordination challenges that are going on, but otherwise recovering from a long set of trips.
Yeah. I know you've been traveling quite a bit.
Yeah, but fortunately, everything about the situation with my in-law is finished. There's no more of that going to be going on. So,
Wow.
Memorial was why we were out, and so everything went really well and lovely too.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
We were able to handle everything as she wished, and had some wonderful friends over, and had a nice little visit in Central Park in New York.
Ooh, excellent.
And then went down to see my father in the middle of the Appalachians.
Oh, wow.
And rescued an instrument of mine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have a silver trombone that I got in high school that my dad would never let me take back with me because he said I was going to take it to a pawn shop when I was broke. And I finally convinced him that I really loved my trombone.
Yeah. That's funny. You're gonna pawn it off.
Yeah. I mean, my older brother, his senior class ring is in the safety deposit box because my dad didn't want him giving it to a girl. And I finally convinced my father into letting my 50-year-old brother have his high school class ring.
There you go.
I mean, he's been married for since 2001 and has 2 adult kids of his own and doesn't even have his own like graduation ring.
Oh, wow. Man.
I was telling people back in the countryside about VR and MMO Church.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because some of them out there, especially out in West Virginia, they're not going to services because they actually want to stay home, or their pastors aren't doing services.
Yeah.
They don't often have the VR, but the other things are accessible to them.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and one of the things that we're trying to get out there is that, that a lot of our VR apps have a 2D mode that you can get in Steam. So I think people are starting to discover that, which is really good.
Especially Rec Room has. I heard the Android mobile version's coming out soon, or has already, and it runs really well on mobile.
Yeah. What's up, Twitch? Bakey. Vadis Bakey. The Shadow Dev is on. What's up, Coldest?
Hey,
What's up? What's up, Octane, Beaky, Shadow Dev, whoever else is lurking on Twitch. Yeah, my little webcam guy looks pretty cool. I'm a ninja. That's actually really cool. It's tracking my head movements, my mouth movements for the most part, my facial expressions. It's kind of cool. All right, everyone. Welcome to Church Planning. We're just going to jump right into it. It's good to see you guys who are watching on Twitch. It's good to see those of you that are here on Discord, Tia, Coldest, Coco, Wizard. What's good? And I'm sure many people are watching on demand later. Pastor Lena, Pastor Zach, catching up the on demand. What's up? We don't want to forget those watching asynchronously later. All right, so this is a couple things that are new. And one of the things is we're going to combine VR and MMO church planning into one. So we'll cover different topics across all our churches. And a lot of what you're seeing, let me give you the big picture. A lot of what you're seeing that's happening in Discord, merging the two servers together, merging the channels, all these things that are happening, there is a purpose to it. There is a synergy that we want to create across all our churches. We want to break down those walls that these churches are separate, even though they are. Like our Rust Church is very different from our Altspace Church, which is very different from VR Chat. But there's a commonality, there's a common thread throughout all of them. And in one way, we're one big family. So even if you have nothing to do with the Altspace Church, it's still part of your family to some degree. And so I think in some ways we want to have synergy, collaboration, cross-pollination, all that fancy words. And I think it's going to help us in the long run. And we know you can't attend every church service and volunteer for everything, but it's helpful to know as much as you can what's going on, because sometimes, and I've seen this happen many times before, a singular thought from another church helps out the other church that they're talking about. So, for example, maybe someone in Altspace has an idea for the church in Rust that we hadn't thought of completely, right? Just as an outsider view, they're kind of taking it all in and they just give some input. So that's a long way of saying, feel free to just chime in, give some input, put something in the chat. Everything's read. We might not be able to do every idea, but definitely submit a ticket, throw some ideas out. So yeah, especially if there's something in your brain that doesn't let go, like it just kind of revisits your brain daily or weekly, and man, share that because maybe there's something to that. Yeah, maybe not, but maybe there is something to that. So we want to be helpful to all the churches, and even though we're separate, we're one big family. So that's something that's very important to think about. Oh yeah, hey Beaky, no worries. I know you've had the COVID shot and volunteering, and you need to get some rest. There's no worries about that at all. All right, so let's just jump into the planning for today. Here's some of the topics that you see here on Twitch. By the way, if you're here on the voice chat and Discord, if you go to the Twitch, you'll see the screen share. That's probably the best way to do it. I could probably screen share in Discord, but Twitch would be just as good. You can just mute the audio so you don't get the double if you're here on Discord. First of all, one thing that we never want to forget is our 3 focuses. Focusize? I don't know. So is destiny, prayer, and love. That's something that's really important. And I think we're going to find in coming up on season 5, that we're going to maybe even just pick one focus for a particular period of time. So rather than 3 general things across the course of the year, one focus for several months, and we'll talk about that later. So which brings us to the first thing here, and actually I'm going to put this to the top over here in Discord. First thing is season 5 is coming up around the corner. Season 5 across all our churches, whether we're VR and MMO. And so that is going to represent a new season, new vision. There's lots of things going on in smaller conversations, like in Final Fantasy. We're getting really starting to build some momentum there. We bought some land, which is notoriously hard to do in Final Fantasy. And then Coco, if I could put you on the spot, and I know you're an introvert like me, but if I can put you on the spot to maybe give us a quick update, on the house, where we bought it, where it's located, what we're doing. And I know we don't have much details on that, like as far as church services, but just to kind of give a quick update on what's going on with Final Fantasy, the church. And I'll give some updates on what's going on with VR Chat and Altspace, as well as some thoughts about Rec Room. Wizard, if you don't mind talking a little bit about, if you're available to talk, I don't know if you're, I know sometimes in these meetings we're muted, but if you're able to give us some updates on Discord, that'd be great. How it's been going the past couple of weeks. I think it's been fantastic, but I'd love to hear your input. And then always Twitch, you're always invited to give input here in the chat. I'll read it to everyone watching on Twitch and on Discord. And obviously afterwards, we can chat about things. But so going back to season 5 is coming up quickly. And the ideal nature of what's happening with season 5 is that we're going to have one thing all the churches are going to focus on. So it might be like spiritual gifts, or it might be something like taking care of your neighbors. There's a general spiritual theme that we want all the churches to follow. And then each church is going to have their specific vision and goals and direction that they're going to go, and they're all going to look very different. So the Final Fantasy is going to look different than the Rust, and a lot of times we want the platform to tell us what it wants to be. I know it sounds kind of weird, but I've discovered that that is a real powerful way to go about. So we have this idea of what we think church is going to be like in a particular metaverse, but sometimes we just need to listen to what it wants to be. So I know it sounds all metaphysical and whatnot, but anyway, so season 5 is coming. It's going to start at the late summer, early fall. We're going to have a big kickoff party. Maybe there's going to be a vision night for season 5, new graphics. We'll have a general principle all churches are following, and then we're going to give specific updates about what all the specific churches are doing. And we'll probably host this on AltSpace. We'll broadcast it on Twitch, and we'll upload it to YouTube. It'll be Vision Night. So hopefully it'll probably take the place of a service, and we'll talk about all the new things that are going. Now, this is where you come in. We have been saying, please give some feedback about some things that you love or don't love about VR Church. Please be honest. Mariana, if you're watching this, let's post that link into Discord to let people know to fill out the form. So we'll keep that form open for like another week or so. And feel free to jot some thoughts, big or small. I've been reading through some of those submissions about season 5. And I would love to get your feedback about that. And it does and will shape, for the most part, how we move into the future. Again, we can't do everything, but everything that's submitted will be thought about, chewed on, have a conversation about. And so that is a season 5 feedback. Final call for that is the main thing we want to talk about at this part of church planning. Any feedback, any thoughts on Twitch, any questions or comments about season 5? I open up the floor to anyone. And if there's no comments, then we can always come back to it. So if you think of something later and you chime in to say, hey, I wanted to talk about season 5, that's perfectly fine too. That's good. All right. The next thing is the new Discord server. Shadow, give us a little bit of an update on what's going on with the Discord server, how things have been rolling. Anything big and small, general or specific, feel free to chime in. Thank you, Shadow.
So when we first launched the new mega server, we had the separate sections completely for one for VR Church, all of its announcements, AltSpace, VR Chat, and Rec Room channels. And then we had an announcements channel for each section. And then we did the same thing for MMO Church. And you had to go to the top channel, the Pick Rolls channel, to be able to access that at all. And looking at the analytics that Discord gives me and then the things that DJ has been saying, a lot of times people don't realize that's there at all. And then all they're able to see is those top 4 welcome channels, and they don't get access to all the announcements and everything. So what I did actually about 2 hours ago was everything has been combined into one VR MMO Church channel, and you can access that completely. We got rid of clicking the buttons to see the different sections. The 5 channels for each platform are still set up to where you can use the ping command, which is just a dash and then the word ping, and it'll ping for that channel specifically, and anyone can do that. So we still have the 6 roles for each section set up, but we're not restricting access to anything anymore. And so because of that, a lot of things have been toned out, kind of cleaned out. We only have one announcements channel. If you're an officer or an apprentice or an admin, all of our channels have been moved around for that. And then the ticket system is also getting cleaned out a little bit, just kind of updating it to make sure everybody can see what they need to see, and it's not as much manual work for us as far as that goes. So I'm hoping that opening this up a little more, making it more accessible, will help people realize, hey, there's actually a whole second half of the server that they haven't seen. And looking at the analytics that Discord gives me and that my bots track, a lot of times it's like 50% of the people would actually go and look at those role channels and claim it, and the other 50% didn't even go over there and try. So hopefully this will make it a little bit more accessible so that everybody can come in and see that that's there.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Wizard. And at the end of the day, just adapting to user behavior, right? So noticing how we thought people would use it, but noticing that's not how they would use it. So just and adapting to it. So you'll see little adaptations coming in the next coming days and weeks, and then hopefully we'll settle on something and just let it ride for a bit. Because I know have had a lot of changes, and I know sometimes change is hard, and it's like, oh man, what's next, and why are we moving this? So hopefully we'll settle into something real soon, and just let that go for at least 2 or 3 months, and then do another evaluation after 2 or 3 months. So unless there's something critically important that we just need to adjust.
Right.
So yeah.
And then also, so on the member list, you can see we have separate sections for MMO Church Admin, VR Church Admin, VR Church Officer, MMO Church Officer. That just got really annoying for me to look at myself. So we're going to start combining those probably right after this meeting, actually. So we're just going to have one admin role, one officer role, one recruit, and I forget, what's the fourth one? Apprentice, one apprentice role. And then down at the bottom of the list, there's going to be hidden roles that we have that tells what their specific tasks are. So there's one for VR Chat Welcome Team. There's a World Build Team one. There's a mod, a streams. There's separate roles for each job on Rust that they have. And so going to make the member list a lot cleaner. So there's just admins, officers, apprentices, recruits, and members. And then the elders and me. But there's going to be little hidden roles, and they have that gray color if you click on somebody, so you can see exactly what they go for. And that's just another part of making it cleaner, making it more accessible for everyone to see quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you so much, Wizard. And so, like he was saying, he's combining them. And then one of our topics today is to go over what those roles are. It's something that we're experimenting with, and I want to show you what it is. And actually, Nick just said I couldn't tell you what any of those roles are for. And I'm about to give an explanation. So great timing.
That was all planned.
It was all planned. Nice. All part of the plan. Great. So if you have any feedback about the Discord, about what's working, what's not working, feel free to submit a ticket. Ticket system's great, by the way. I just love it. I can just keep track of just conversations.
It's addictive, isn't it?
Yeah. Conversations and
I adore
people
the ticket system.
Yeah, people volunteering. We used to have
So,
outside.
Fun fact for
Yep.
all of you people who can't see it, there are currently 12 tickets open. 10 of those are for people who are wanting to volunteer and to join us. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, I think Discord is such a powerful tool, and I think we're trying to maximize it. And I'd love to take a pause here in this moment to give a major shout out to the Wizard Shadow for all the hard work to make this Discord server amazing. So if you're on Twitch, let those emojis roll to show your appreciation for Shadow. And if you're on here on Discord as well, maybe we can go to what channel should we go to? General chat. Yeah, general chat and VR MMO. Yeah, this I don't know. Cheers. Let me find a good GIF.
Oh gosh.
There we go. Here they come.
Oh no.
That wasn't a good one that I found, but yeah, get the point. I did it too fast. Hype. I like the hype one. There you go. All right, that's awesome. Yes, indeed. All right. What's that called? This is a Cobra?
So many Pog champs.
Poggers. Yeah, thank you so much, Wizard.
Yeah, you're
It's great.
welcome.
I think we have a great foundation for the future to scale, which Tia knows a thing or two about. So we need to be picking Tia's brain every now and then as well. Okay, let's see here. Going back to this. So we talked about Season 5 feedback. If you're just popping into Twitch or into the call here on Discord, Season 5, last call for feedback. Mariana, when you're watching this later, post this all around Discord. in Telegram, let people know. We talked about the new Discord server. And let us look at, and part of this conversation is the new roles. So now I'm going to open up this document. Let me just check on Twitch and make sure we can see it. All right. Actually, I'd rather look at it with the, let me try like this. All right. How big can I make this so everyone can see it? All right, to Nick's point, or Nick's question, let's talk about some of these different roles that you're seeing. Before the launch, I had posted in Telegram and I believe on the Discord server for the volunteer Discord server, which we shut down. Excuse me, I got to cough for a second. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Clear my throat. So I had posted that we're working on some roles. We're thinking through some things. They're not set in stone. You might arrive into the new Discord server and discover you have a role you've never seen before. I was asking, hey, nobody be upset if you think you should have a higher role or lower role, whatever, because it's just something we're trying to work out. We're having conversations, Pastor Alina. And so let me give you a little bit of an explanation of what we're thinking. Subject to change, by the way, all an experiment. So you can see at the top of this document, leadership experiment subject to change. And so the reason that we're doing this is as we grow, past hundreds and then thousands and then tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands, we want to think about how we can scale and organize what we do. And actually, we've taken a very ancient principle to do this. The ancient principle happened with Moses, who was doing way too much, and his father-in-law, Jethro, this is in the book of Exodus, came to him and said, you're going to kill yourself. You need to split up the responsibility. Have people that are able to oversee 1,000 people, good men and women, and then people that are over 100, and then people that are over 50, and people that are over 10. And so you see this general principle where as this leader was interacting with hundreds of thousands and perhaps millions, it was getting to be too much. And so VR Church, or now should I say VR MMO Church, is growing by leaps and bounds in many ways. Multiple churches are coming out of the door. People are just starting to discover who we are. And it's no longer just the little 20, 30 person church that we used to have. And so at that point, there's a lot of things that me and Alina just can't do anymore. It's just impossible. We've been talking with Tia about that because she has a lot of knowledge and training in that regard. And so we're going to be experimenting with how to organize that could scale to thousands, tens of thousands, and hundreds of thousands. We don't have the answer yet. I don't know that this paper that I'm showing you is the answer, but it is the beginning of something that I think hopefully reflects the ancient wisdom that Moses did. And he did listen to Jethro, his father-in-law, and I think that saved Moses from burning out. And so I think maybe at another time we'll actually look through that scripture. But I'll just introduce the idea now, and then we can get into that scripture another time. I think it's a great general principle. So here's what it's looking like. If you look on Twitch at the screen share, you see some possible names. You see the first level that someone comes into, whether they want to volunteer or and maybe there's some other elements when we talk about how they grow in leadership. The first one is recruit. We'll talk about what these mean in a second. The second name is apprentice, trainee, or helper. We haven't landed on which name. So you see how everything is subject to change. Apprentice, trainee, and helper is level 2. Level 3 is where most people will be, and that's not a bad thing. This is where most people are going to land. Officer, volunteer leader, or mod. Again, we haven't picked one name. We'll probably pick one that hopefully goes across all the churches, whether it's Final Fantasy, AltSpace, VRChat, whatever. That's the ideal, is we want to pick one that's the same everywhere. Let's see here. And that's where most people are going to be. It's a leader position in VR Church. So let's see here. Oh yeah, I'll talk about the fourth one in just a second. But well, I'll just go ahead and go to the fourth one. The fourth one is new, and it's called admin or team leader. So this is a new category that we've had. And this is something that we haven't had before. It's new. So if you see your name, that's admin on the server. We'll talk about that more in just a second. And then the fifth one is elder pastor. And I'll go through the description. So there it is. There's the basic levels. But again, we're looking for some feedback on this as we go into the future. So before we just had 2 levels. The third level, which was the officer, volunteer, leader, mod, and then the elder pastor. So that we just had 2 levels. Now we've expanded to 5. So there's new roles. We're trying. You okay?
Hey, I prefer real quick. I am cleaning my neighbor's house because she's moving out, and it's really bad. Like, I mean, really, really bad. Like, there's cobwebs everywhere. There's even like dirt and feces. It's like, whoa. So
Wow.
I need a privilege because I'm cleaning it right now while listening to you.
Oh, okay. I'll go ahead and mute you because it scared me for a second. I was like, what the? Be careful. Be careful. So let's see here. Recruit. Let's see, where was I? Recruit, apprentice, officer, admin, elder. Some of these are new. Oh yeah, we only had 2 of these before, 2 levels, and now we want to expand it to 5. We're trying not to go more than 5, because I know, like in the Army, there's second sergeant, first class, private. There's like a zillion, and we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to keep it simple. We're trying to mirror a little bit of like MMO guilds, how they organize as well. So that's one idea. So let me go into detail about which each of these are. The first one is the recruit. And again, this is a new category. And this is for someone who is interested in volunteering. They might not actually be volunteering. And so what we've seen in the past is people that are really excited to volunteer, and then maybe they didn't show up, or they didn't show up consistently, but they were given a volunteer role. And so kind of like on the same level as everyone else, like a leader role, leader volunteer. And we use those terms interchangeably. So now you're like a recruit. So someone in that level, they're interested, they're starting to show up for training, and they attend church about 3 or 4 months before moving to the next step. And that'll help people who are new. Sometimes they come in, they're super excited about volunteering, and then maybe they find out, oh, we have women preachers, and then they get upset and they leave, right? And so for someone attending 3 to 4 months, that helps them to get a little bit acclimated to how we roll, so to speak, how we do things.
No pun intended.
No pun intended at all. And so that'll be helpful for them as a recruit. And sometimes we'll give that so that many leaders can look and see who recruits are. We can encourage them. We can encourage them to attend training. And if someone doesn't attend training, then they possibly could be removed from recruit. And so again, subject to change, but that is fundamentally what a recruit is. And then the next level is the apprentice, trainee, or helper, whatever term we decide to land on. And that is someone, they've been attending all the training sessions. They're showing up, and they demonstrate a positive team spirit. They can sync well. They're not easily offended. And so this is like another 3 or 4 months of training before they move to the next step. But they're more integrated into the life of the church and volunteering and helping out and chipping in. And at some point, the level 3 leader, 3 and above, will give the thumbs up. To say the apprentice is ready now to go to level 3. So let's just take, Wizard Shadow. Let's say somebody is a Discord apprentice, so to speak, and after a few months, you say, hey, they're ready to be a mod. So to get to the next level is to be affirmed by another leader in the church. And so far, this is going to be real helpful to Alina and I, because I remember Alina even saying, and this was an epiphany, that there's a couple volunteers she never met. And that's wild that the church is expanding in ways and growing in ways where now we're like, who's that? Oh, they're volunteering for Rust. Oh, I didn't know who they are. So it's beautiful. It's amazing to watch that. So that's something to think about. Okay, recruit, apprentice, and then finally, like I mentioned before, most will land here. This is the leaders of VR Church. That's what we would consider. Officer, a volunteer leader, mod. At this point, you've proven yourself. You're faithful. not easily offended. You present a good attitude, and you're helpful. And now you're established as an official officer, volunteer leader, or mod for VR MMO Church. And there we go. I'm being repetitive, but there's part B. You've demonstrated maturity and responsibility. Now, there's possible sub roles here, and we'll have to get more into this later. But co-leader or a champion, and that has to do with more helping out number 4 at a high level. So this is good and this is positive. If some people look at this and go, "Oh, I'm only level 3 out of 5," no, this is really good. This is where most people are going to be at, and this is where the bulk of the church is the weight of the church is going to be laid upon this particular foundation. So this is a positive thing. After that, this is a new role that we're going to have, and we're working through this as we speak, and that's the admin team leader. So now at this level, you're not just volunteering and leading, but you oversee a team of volunteers. So you have more like oversight is a distinctive of an admin or a team leader. Now, a level 3 officer might have some oversight, but at level 4, there's a particular oversight, larger responsibilities. You oversee teams of volunteers. You oversee a large aspect of the church. So you might not be leading a team, but there's an aspect that you lead over. So someone like Mariana, she doesn't necessarily lead a team of volunteers, but she oversees many aspects of VR Church. And so therein is her admin or team leader role, a leader of leaders, so to speak. And fundamentally, generally speaking, number 4, admin leaders, has the authority to direct recruits through officers. And so like in those moments, like, all right, who's making the decision? Ultimately, and hopefully there'd be an admin team leader to do that. But we also trust our leaders to do that as well. So this is new and under development. Okay. Let's see here, and don't forget, it's not perfect, but we'll get there. We'll keep picking away at it, maybe define it more. Maybe the process will have some more specificity, but I think it's going to take some time for us to flesh it out and to feel out how it's going to go. And then level 5 is an elder pastor role, the bishops of the church, the overseers of the church. These are couple characteristics is they've completed VR MMO seminary. So we have a seminary. It's a Discord curriculum that's going to be live classes. And so all of our elders and pastors that you see on the Discord server have gone through at least one semester of VR MMO seminary. Number 2, they have been ordained through VR MMO Church. So as a 501c3 in the United States, we have become an ordaining body. So we can ordain men and women into ministry, legally recognized in the U.S. Now, we still haven't answered the outside the U.S. bit. We're still trying to figure that out. So, but as the metaverse goes, it counts, right? So ordination through the VR MMO Church, at least in the States, there's legal rights, or I don't know if legal rights is the right word, but there's some legal elements for those that are ordained through VR MMO Church. And then let's see, the last part is helps to oversee the whole church experience. So they might lead multiple teams or multiple aspects of the church, or they have a larger responsibility, perhaps teaching or different things like that. So that's kind of the overview of these of the elder pastor. I have to go to work. Can you post the role stuff somewhere? I can look over it. Yeah, I got this link for you, and I can send it to you, Nick. And then let's see here. Yeah, and like Shadow said, the recording will be posted as well. Good. So that's an aspect. This is what we're working on. It isn't set in stone, subject to change. We might move some people around. If you discovered you have an admin, you're like, whoa, I don't want all this responsibility. Hey, listen, no worries. In retrospect, maybe we should have had that conversation, but things are just moving so fast. Some people had the admin role at MMO Church, and we brought them over, so you're kind of like connected with that role to begin with. And so, Yeah, just all of this is about having a conversation. It's not about being elitist, or it's not about neglecting anybody. It's not about anything negative. It's all positive, and it's all to encourage us and to set some structure and order as we prepare for the future. All right. Yay, Mariana. I was just telling you, if you don't mind posting this and the season 5 form, season 5 form feedback form. Can you post that all everywhere? Discord, Telegram, everywhere. So that I was telling people the feedback form is going to close down in a week or so. And for those interested in learning about the roles that we had just talked about right now, they can see that in the Google document. Any questions or comments about the experimental leadership structure? Yeah, right. Anybody on Twitch have a question or a comment about the leadership structure? Anybody on Discord? Okay. Very good, very good. Yeah, so feel free to give me some feedback. Let's have conversations about it. It's meant to empower. It's not meant to disempower. What's the word? Opposite of empower? Stifle. It's not meant to stifle. Good, good. All right, let's see here. What is next on experimental leadership? We got that new Discord role. All right, new churches coming out of the gate. So let's see, Coco, are you still here? Are you able to give us?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you give us a little what's going on with the Final Fantasy? Give us a little update.
Yeah, so like he said earlier, we just got land, which is a big deal. Thanks to Chris if he's watching. We are trying to set up a different kind of environment in Final Fantasy. Like he was saying, we are wanting to let each game dictate how the church looks, but we're also trying to get away from a traditional kind of church that you're used to seeing with a stage and an audience. We're trying to have it be a little more participatory, more like it was intended in the New Testament. So we are setting up the banquet hall theme. So we have the table set up so that everyone's facing each other and everyone's on the same level, and we can all have discussion and conversation in the building. But within the community, we're having regular play sessions. We've got at least 32 people across all of the different things, across servers, that are signing up to be a part of the fellowships and free companies. And we're still discussing what to do as far as content, but we have an air table of ideas. Did you want me to talk about any of that, or what?
Yeah, sure. I think it'd be good for people to at least know.
So we're talking about types of content subject matter for sermon topics, and what we're wanting to do with Final Fantasy is the content of the story is very powerful. People love the story, especially the further you go into the game. Each expansion's better than the one before, and people just really love talking about the story. So we're wanting to take things from the story and use those as topics. So, for example, you are a warrior of light within this game. So that is an actual concept within the Bible, to be a light. So how can we make that? How can we connect that and teach people that part of gospel and so forth? And so we've got tons of content. We're still having to figure out how to handle spoilers for people who haven't played the game yet, haven't got to where they are in the content. We're discussing ways of handling that, having separate conversations based on how long you've been in the game, um, like that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And that's an example. Yeah, I love it. Oops, hold on. I was trying to pull up some Final Fantasy footage while you were chatting, but I was a little slow to the draw. Let's see if I can pull some up here. There we go. But oops, there we go. And like what Coco was saying, this is a beautiful example of the platform telling us what it wants to be. So across all the churches, Final Fantasy is extremely more story driven than all the other platforms. And so we're capitalizing on that and utilizing the love of story that the community has for the game to connect it to spiritual elements. So that's one example of how it's just going to look different than say the Rust Church or the Altspace Church. So having this, like if you're looking on Twitch right now, that's the some visuals of our house, which is notoriously hard to purchase. You can get an instanced apartment, but a lot of these plots of lands are exclusive to the degree that not everyone can get them. And so, like Coco was saying, to get it was like a huge deal, big deal. So this is a great hub. I think a special place for us to gather. It's headquarters for our church in Final Fantasy. Coco is a team leader for the Final Fantasy team. And yeah, so that's great. Yeah. The church in Rust is doing well. We got some great leaders. We've had some ups and downs. It's been a little crazy journey with Rust. Going viral on TikTok, getting kicked out of a PvE server where we had the church, trying to find our own server, lag, trolls, hacks, all these things. I guess there wasn't a ton of trolls and hacking, but a lot of laggish situations and technical problems. But now we bought a dedicated server and things have been running super well. And so we're ready in Rust to really grow into the future. And so across all of our churches, Altspace, VR Chat, Final Fantasy, Rust, and Black Desert. And one important thing just to keep in everyone's brain is Rec Room is on our radar. We have, I don't know, at least, it feels like at least once a week conversations about Rec Room, what to do with that. Is it going to replace the Europe service? There's pros and cons, 50-50 on that. But it is definitely like, it feels imminent. I'm not saying like next week or next month, but the pent up energy is there to get this Rec Room ministry going. We have a couple of our friends in there already, so that helps the consternation. Like Pastor Japo and his team are getting the Rec Room. Obviously Pablo and New Reality Fellowship. So to that degree, it's really cool that there's stuff happening in there. And man, we want to get on it too because that's such a powerful platform. But in due time. Good. Let's see. Any questions about any of our churches across the metaverse? Maybe you have a question. Maybe you have a comment.
I want to mention that we're also working on Black Desert. It's just still experimental, early phase.
Yes. Yeah. All of our churches are in different phases, so to speak. Some are super early, just out of the gate, not much going on. Let's say Black Desert. And then, some of us are established, let's say the Altspace Church. Yeah, they're all in different phases of, and each phase, by the way, has a different challenge to overcome. So one thing, like, for example, VR Church has to be careful of is this kind of going into autopilot mode. We're just used to it. We've always done this. Now we're just, we want to keep things fresh and exciting. And so that's one thing. And then there's some things on the other side, like Black Desert. That's hard to get those things going and to start that community. And there's challenges on that end. So, but it's really exciting, man. These churches just are almost popping up. What's the word? Cataclysm. Why is that in my brain? I forgot the word I'm looking for, but they're just serendipitously? No, that's not the word. Catalyst, something around the catalytic. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Catalytic. So It's exciting to see. And so who knows what else is coming around the corner, especially with the VR MMOs looking to make an entrance into the scene this fall. That's going to be super interesting. Actual VR MMOs. So that'll be fun. All right, my friends. I think that is about it. Let's take a look here. Oh, and one more topic. But yeah, let me go back. Any questions, comments, Twitch, Discord about all the new churches that are being born? Let's see, Tia, I pinned a message with a link for some info that is being discussed in the current, so Twitch chat, you've pinned some.
That's the link you were asking Mariana to post.
Oh, yeah, yes. Oh, that's helpful. Yeah, I forgot we had the Twitch chat in Discord. Excellent. All right, my friends. Last thing on the category there is it's called Series A New Funding Round. And so there is a correlation to how VR Church exists with the tech world. VR Church is an anomaly. It's a first of its kind in many ways, in that it's not a tech company, but it is. It's not a physical church, but it is a church, right? So we're like this weird conglomeration of technology and spirituality, and there isn't many that exist like we do. There are definitely some. And so to the degree of that, we have some different challenges, right? We have some challenges with funding and growing our ministry. As all these churches begin to launch and to become into fruition, we're going to need some central support. We're going to need some staffing. We're going to need to grow in our budget. Oftentimes talking about church and money is always like a awkward thing, but it's not something that we need to find awkward. It's just something that, we need to talk about. So what's going to be happening hopefully in the fall, and I'm talking with the VR Church board about this, is a new funding round that's coming up. We're going to mirror what they do in the tech world. So I forgot, I had a piece of paper out, and I don't know where the paper is at the moment, that describes the different phases of funding for a startup. So the first one is like the seedling phase. It's like you're funded by F&F with friends and family and credit cards and whatever. And really that's where VR Church to some degree is where we're at. We're in the seedling phase. Friends, much of the budget of VR Church is covered by friends and family credit cards, all these different elements to pay for different things and to grow our staffing. And so that's great. And that's part of what we do. For a startup to move to the next level, they go into what's called the Series A funding. So at that point, they say, hey, listen, we've got proof of concept. This thing works. We've got customers, so to speak. This is going places, and we need to scale. So we're going to need some Series A funding. We're going to need a new level funding. And you see all the time, like in VR world, like VR chat got like 80 million bucks. I think was it? And it might have been Series B. I forgot what series they're in right now, but big screen VR got like $12 million or something to that degree. So there's this mechanism of how these startups establish themselves as a company financially. Now, VR Church, if we were a physical church, we would have a mechanism to do that through, like, let's say, a denomination. We're a part of the Presbyterians. And so there's a whole economic model to follow that the Presbyterians have, and you're supported by other Presbyterian churches, and, this, that, and the other thing. Since VR Church is so new, there is no economic system. There is no economic sustainability. We are the first ones. 50 years from now, we'll be the ones we'll be the denomination helping other VR churches launch and being the funding mechanism. But right now, at this stage, we are the foundation, the beginners, the pioneers. And to that degree, you're going to start seeing some language where we're moving from the seedling phase into Series A. So we're still in the seedling phase, people just giving. And I really just want to pause and say thank you to everyone that's been giving to some degree. To help with the ministry of VR Church. And then the language you're going to see is about something like, I don't think we'll use the word Series A because that's kind of connected to startup technology, but we'll use something that reflects that, where we're going for a new funding round to really pave the way for the future of our ministry and to really create a sustainable economic model, I think that people are going to realize that the what's the word, the dollar cost average, or the amount of impact we can have per dollar far outweighs many things. Now, I don't want to get into like, it's hard not to, but like we don't have to spend millions of dollars on building, or like a church that I was a part of spent like $15,000 a month on, like, I think it was electricity alone. And by the way, I'm not knocking that at all. I'm just describing a scenario where we're in a different era, a different model where the dollar is going to go much farther. Again, not saying physical is bad. You shouldn't do physical churches. If you have a large building, you shouldn't pay your utility. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just casting vision for the importance of, as we grow VR Church, and the power of the dollar when people give and how far that's going to go. Because to some degree, people can still to this day have a negative view towards virtual reality ministries. But the opposite is true. There's so much good that's being done across this metaverse. So anyways, that's a short story long. You'll be seeing that. And I really want to encourage everyone to participate as much as you're able. What I would love to see, and I don't know if Pastor Lena was mentioning this. I think she mentioned a different aspect of the economics. But what I would love to see is 100% participation. I'm not even talking about a dollar amount, like you need to give this a much amount. I'm not talking about, there are churches that really get super hardcore, like, let me see your bank statement. We're going to, twist your arm. We're going to pressure you into giving. No, that's not how we do it all. We've talked about that scripture before about giving cheerfully, not out of response to pressure. That's not how we're going to roll with guilt and pressure. But we do want to encourage you to be a part of this new Series A equivalent funding. And whether that's, you're like, Pastor, I can only give $1 a month. And I think that's the point I'm trying to make. It's not how much. I would just love to see our whole church get involved in this economic, the new economics of these virtual reality churches, and to participate in building that foundation, and to be an early investor, if you will, if I can use that term. There's no investment and return, so to speak, like you would see in stock world or tech world. But I'm just giving you an example of, in the world to come, you are investing. And so if you give $1, if you give $100, if you give $1,000, it doesn't matter. I think the goal, like when talking with Pastor Lena, is to get to that part where everyone's participating in some way, whether it's giving through the website or through Twitch or through whatever. We would love to see that, and to help us as we grow. So that's some language you're going to see. We're not going to beat this down everyone's head. We're not going to guilt or pressure anyone into it. But we do want people to be a part of something that's super unique. And yeah, it's good stuff. What's up, Mech? I see you on Twitch. What are we participating in? I'm talking. So this current conversation is about the funding of VR and MMO Church, and just the different needs that we have. And so, to your point, like in Rust, we host a dedicated server. So things like that that need funding for. And so what I was describing is we're going into a Series A equivalent of what the tech world does, a new funding round, where we move from seedling, which is friends and family and credit card debt, to having a sustainable economic model and intelligence to move forward into the future. So that's good, man. That's good. Let's see. Phantom says, "Get some skin in the game." Yeah, that's good. That's a really good. That's a really good phrase. I love that. Build a healthy habit. The habit giving as God commands is more important than the specific amount. Right. Exactly. And so I love, I know this sounds weird, but I love seeing like a dollar donations come in, because I know the person is like just giving as much as they can out of their heart. Now we have we do have some very large givers, and I'm not saying I don't appreciate that. It's just, I'm just kind of going off on a little thing that I just love to see these donations where like I don't know who it is, and they just give, and it's just a little amount, and it's just heartwarming to see that. I really appreciate that. So, Mech, you say in terms of funding, you can include skin boxes and make profitable for the church because if we have a lot of people buying skin boxes, it pay itself out. Yes, and I think that's coming. Having conversations with Rico about it, we're waiting for Ko-Fi to launch their tiered support. Right now, they just have one, but we're waiting for their tiered support because we like Ko-Fi better than Patreon. And so, at some point, you're going to see like Rust tiers, whether it be skin boxes or some type of cosmetic, cosmetic offerings. And I think we're working on that. And Ko-Fi was already supposed to have it. We thought we would have it by now, but it looks like they're a little bit late on their development. So
August 1st was the last that I heard of it.
August 1st, really?
That's what they said. I'm not sure if I believe it, but yeah.
Okay. You never know. They seem pretty sharp, developmental wise. I mean, I don't know. So yeah, Mech, maybe August 1st, you might see some specific Rust tier type of funding elements. Okay, my friends. Speaking of funding, thoughts and prayers. In August, I'm going to another Shark Tank type thing. You might have heard me mention going to a Shark Tank thing in this past May in Austin, Texas. That was great. The church received a $5,000 grant, which is fantastic. To help pay like 2 or 3 bills. No, I'm just kidding when I say that. But in August, this is like level 2. So there's going to be a prize or a grant for $25,000, and I think there's different levels like 25, 10. 5, I don't know, something like that. So I'll be going to Shark Tank in Nashville. It's not actually Shark Tank, but it's like based on that. So it's like a Christian version of it. So I'll be in, Nashville, Tennessee. If anybody's out there, I'd love to meet and hang out with you, whatever. Take you to Monell's in Nashville is to die for. I love that place. But anyways, thoughts and prayers as I go and cast some vision and hopefully bring back some funding, Series A funding. Hopefully that'd be a good kickstart for us as we go into our next phase of VR MMO Church. Any questions or comments about Series A? Let's see. Coldest, I am not usually into skins in video games, but a VRC skin in Rust would be pretty cool. Yeah, I think Rico does have a sweatshirt he's working on. Looks pretty cool. Looks awesome. All right, Twitch. Any things you want to mention? Let me check the chat. See if there's anything. Yes, Tia. Thanks for that donate button there in general chat. And let's see what else. All right. Any final thoughts, questions, comments about any topic? Looks like we are just about done, but we can take a minute or two. Any topic across anything across the church. Looks like the Rust server is getting trolled a bit. Looks like you guys. Normal day? Yeah. All right, my friends. I think, let's see here. All right. I would like Coldest. I'm going to put you on the spot. If you don't mind closing our prayer in Spanish.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Do you mind closing our meeting up? I would really appreciate that.
Damos gracias, Señor, por esta fantástica comunidad y tener la posibilidad de estar en contacto todos nosotros, aunque estemos repartidos por todo el mundo, y que esto pueda ser una posibilidad y que gente tan maravillosa como la que hay aquí, pues nos podamos reunir y hablar de estas cosas y y construir esta iglesia, ¿no? Que básicamente es un sueño que hace no tanto hubiera sido completamente imposible. Así que muchas gracias por eso, Señor. Muchas gracias a todos vosotros. Y, y amén.
Amen. Amen. Thank
Amen.
you, Coldest. Appreciate it.
Thanks to you.
Anybody? Let's see here. No, I think we're good. I think we are done. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for a great church planning. If you're watching on demand, feel free to send messages or tickets, and we'll keep moving forward. Really looking forward to what's coming up, man. I think we're just barely getting out of the gate, just scratching the surface. So, man, everybody buckle up. Buckle up. It's going to get crazy. All right, thanks, everybody. Thanks, Twitch. Thanks, Discord. We'll catch you later. I'm going to close out the Twitch, and then I'll be back in here to chat on Discord in about a couple minutes. I'll be right back. All right, Twitch. We'll catch you up. Oh, thanks for the follow. Clicks. Oreo. Thanks for the follow. We just finished up a meeting today. And we're just wrapping up right now. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and close the stream. You have a great day. And nothing but love.